The Clark Kent glasses strike again because it's Football Friday. Big Sills, how you doing? Yes, sir, baby. Happy Football Friday. Welcome aboard here to the National Football Show, and we are off and running. Oh, by the way, you know that guy you guys goof on sometimes, Jason Cole? I found out Jason votes for the MVP. I might want to be nicer to him. 5:30 Eastern, I'm going to ask him who he's going to vote for this year. You might want to be nice to him. You might want to go, hey, this guy votes for the most valuable player. All Hall of Fame voters vote for the MVP. How you doing? I couldn't believe it. He goes, Jace goes, yeah, I vote for the MVP. I'm going, all right. 5:30 Eastern. Eagles and Gigantes. No, I am not picking the New York Giants. I am not. I'm going to get into the preview here in a minute. God, do we have some great topics. Can't wait to get into those. God. Dear Lord, let's do this, though, here on a Friday. Ready? Xander, everyone. Dear God, thank you very much for Jalen Hurts, for being part of the content of the Dan Sileo show and being part of the Philadelphia Eagles and the success that they're having. Thank you so much, dear God. Amen. Please don't get hurt. Please do not get hurt, Jalen. Big Sills doesn't cover dudes like Gardner Minshew. Big Sills doesn't cover Tyler Heineke or Dimes Jones. Dear God, Dimes Jones, amen. Amen. Please, Jalen. Please don't get hurt. Absolutely not. Do not get hurt. Oh, my God. That would be a disaster. I need that guy. I want that. He's fun to cover, too, by the way. You know, isn't it a shame? Isn't it a shame that the national media doesn't really cover this kid more? Hey, you know what all the things that I say about him? At least I cover him. The national pundits, they don't watch Eagle football. They don't see the importance of what that kid has done. Hey, by the way, honestly, do I think Hurts has closed the gap with Mahomes? I do. Ask that question to national sports writers. They'll go, no. Even with the Chiefs losing last week. Okay? You know it's true. One thing is for sure, I cover the kid. You know, my coach used to tell me something. Worry when I don't talk about you. You wonder why Baker Mayfield last night was headbutting people, jumping around like a cheerleader? Because people stopped covering him. And when he did something great last night, everyone went nuts. He's back in the spotlight. Worry when you're not covering. That's when, as an athlete, you know you're not relevant anymore. Jalen could easily be one of the top 5 most relevant players in the NFL this year. Easily. Easily. And I say that with great respect to him. I have a difference of opinion. That's it. That's where it's at. Nothing more. Nothing of the sidebar dumb shit that social media and snowflakes try to add into it. You know, if you go over to the news and you watch people in the news, if you have a disagreement with a minority congressman or senator, you're automatically a racist. You see, the one great thing in sports, whether you're black, white, or whatever, it's about scoreboard. Scoreboard. I'll consent to this, and I'll concede to this. Jalen's winning right now on the Big Sill scoreboard. Jalen's in the beginning of the fourth quarter now, and he's got a lead on me. That's a fact. I'm not dumb not to say that. Jalen's got a lead on me going into the fourth. Can he keep it? And by the way, I'm not betting against him. I'm here to watch the story play out. I'm not rooting against him. Why would I root against him when it helps my show? Some people just don't understand that component when we're talking sports here. It's okay because people's passions get the best of them. I'm a prime example of that. Okay? Prime example. Let's do it now. Let's get into Eagles and Giants. 27-14, I'm going to bury the lead. Philadelphia Eagles win this game. Help me out here. Am I right when I make this comment about the Giants? Have the Giants scored more than 30 points this year in any ball game? Have they scored 30 points or more this year? Could someone help me out on that? Have they scored 30 points? I don't think they have. Maybe I'm wrong, but they have not scored 30 or more points this year. Where are they going to get these points to beat the Eagles on Sunday? I don't see them scoring more than 14 points. 27-14. I mean, they had the worst scoring offense last year. As much as Brian Daboll and his coaching staff have done a great job this year, end of the day, they're still not putting a lot of light bulbs up and lighting them light bulbs up. They're just not lighting up the scoreboard. I don't see it. Hurts is coming off a 4-touchdown game. He was great in that game. 380 against the Titans and a well-coached football team. As a matter of fact, I think the Titans and the Giants have a lot in common. I'll get to that here in a minute. Now, I do think the Giants have a couple good coaches in the building. Brian Daboll, Wink Martindale. I think they've turned completely around the Giant culture. Dave Gettleman had lit that place on fire since he took over for Jerry Reese. I thought Jerry Reese was a really good general manager there. He worked with Tom Coughlin. They did a hell of a job, in my opinion. Hey, 5-star, where are they getting the 14 points from? I'm just assuming that they're going to get it. I mean, seriously, I'm with you, man. I don't see the Giants. Don't they haven't put 30 or more points up this year all season long? And you're going to do that against the best team in the league? I don't think so. I just don't. Here's the most, by the way, let me throw this at you here. Who do you guys think is going to be the most important player in this game against the Giants on Sunday, not named Jalen Hurts? Yeah, hey, Kafka's good too. He is. Kafka's good. He's a good coach too. He absolutely is. I like the coaching staff. Tell me who you think is the most important. Jordan Davis, Anthony says. Miles Sanders. Jeremy, why Miles Sanders? Tell me, Jeremy, why you think Miles Sanders is the most important. Tony says Nakobe Dean. Boy says Miles. James Bradbury's looking for revenge. I like these games in back-to-back weeks where you have a little bit of animosity towards players, towards a certain team that allowed them to walk out the building. I like that. Last week it was AJ. This week it's got to be Bradbury. Boston Scott, Giant Killer. D-line. James, you said Miles Sanders. Why is Miles Sanders, in your opinion, the most important player in this game on Sunday? Not named Hurts. Why do you guys think? I know Wink Martindale, and I know his thought process going into this game. Bob says Miles is the most important because he gives the offense true balance in the running game. Hurts needs to be able to throw against this secondary. We're getting there, JM. Let me go here with you. Wink Martindale is going to throw a shitload of blitzes at Jalen Hurts. They are going to come after, and they're not going to sit back, because I would make this proclamation to you about the Giants secondary. I think it's actually worse than the Titans secondary. I think there's a great opportunity here for Jalen again to have another big game in the air. Okay? I don't believe that secondary can hold up against that Eagle offense and their wide receivers. I do not believe that. And let me just put it to you this way. If Dallas Goedert were healthy, I think that Eagle team could put a 50-burger on them. Okay? But you don't have that guy setting the edge. And it's been a factor in pass protection and also your run game. They've come around, though, because Jalen has thought himself around that game plan. You're going to see a shitload of blitzes from Wink Martindale, and that's the only way they can get in the game and stay in the game. It's the only way they could stay in the game. They sit back, and what was one thing that the offensive line did great last week against the Titans? Even though they had those pre-snap penalties, dude, do you remember a Titan getting to Jalen Hurts last week? I thought he had a clean pocket the entire game against the Titans. Hey, Manster, Barkley doesn't play? Dude, it's 27-7. Jalen would be out in the third quarter. They had time to pass block, and Jalen was clean in the pocket. I think the Giant front seven's better as a unit than the Titans. I think the kid Thibodeau, I think the other guy outside of Williams is having a really good year. There's a couple guys in there that are really good and formidable defensive players. I'll tell you what, the guards are going to be tested in this game for the Eagles. Sayamalo and Dickerson are going to have two good football players on them. I just don't think it's enough. So what does Martindale have to do? Martindale's a good coordinator. And Dick, he did not throw Jeffrey Simmons around. You had 80 yards rushing. Don't get ahead of yourself. Okay? You didn't run the ball. Okay? That wasn't the case. I will give you this, though. They did a nice job on Simmons in pass protection. That they did do. Williams is out. Boy, I'll tell you what, man. They got a mass unit going over there in New York. I just don't see it. 27-14. I mean, if the Giants – now, look, here's something to pump the brakes on. It's a divisional game. You're always concerned with that. They know tendencies, all of that. And do me a favor, don't let Daniel Jones get out into perimeter and run like Jalen. Okay? Because he can. That's the one thing he has that is going to be leaned on, especially if Barkley's injured going into this game, is that Jones is going to run a lot. What linebacker can hang with Daniel Jones' speed? You don't have one. And Gardner Johnson's out. You know, when you have a spy or you have a Wolverine or you have a guy that's going to mirror the quarterback, he's got to have the game speed that quarterback has. You know what some of these teams are doing with Jalen Hurts that doesn't make sense to me? How could you have a spy on Jalen with a linebacker? He's going to outrun 95% of the linebackers. And the mismatch is in that spy. Because if you drop a safety down or a corner down on him to spy him, He's bigger and stronger than those guys. That's why I tell you, when teams have people and players like Ryan Shazier or a guy like Derek Brooks back in the day, remember Ryan Shazier with the Steelers? He could cover tight ends. He was 4'4" in the 40. Ryan Shazier was a massive loss when he got paralyzed. With the Steelers, I've always made this comment. As much as Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, when they left that building, took a lot of offense away, when Shazier got paralyzed, they took the heart of that defense away from Mike Tomlin. He was a great football player. He was a great football player. He was like the Gronk killer. Lose a guy like that, you can't replace him. You just can't replace him. Right? 40-3? Maybe. Danny Pennies? Bro, he's going to get the shit hit out of him in this game. Okay? He's going to get the shit hit out of him because he's going to be relied on to do a lot in this ball game to try to make it close. The Giants have to get this game into the fourth quarter. They really do. They have to make it a fourth quarter game. We're going to know immediately right out of the gate if the Giants have a chance in this game. I would say with the first three drives. First three drives, offensively and defensively. If the Eagles get 3 and outs on the Giants, it will be a long day. If the Eagles go right down the field on them, it's going to be an even longer day. Even longer day. Jeremy, I don't see them making it through halftime. I think that game could be over by halftime. Like, watch this. The score could be close, Jeremy. But we're all going to go like this. Well, if I'm watching a fist fight, the Eagles are beating them up. The only reason it's close is because we're only in the 6th round. You know what I mean? I just don't see the Giants having enough manpower to hang with them. I just don't see it. Wow, Texas Boy says 11-2, they dropped this game. 27-14. That's how I see this. I want to do something now. A little exercise with you. I think you'll enjoy this. The 2020 draft. The draft of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was the 53rd player taken. Let's redraft these quarterbacks and see if anything's changed. By the way, I'm not going with the stiffs after 53. I'm not saying Jalen's a stiff. But I'm looking at 5 quarterbacks. This is how they went. Joey B went number 1. Tua went number 5. Second quarterback taken. Number 3 at number 6 was Justin Herbert, Chargers. Number 4, Jordan Love at number 26, Packers. And number 5 at 53, Jalen Hurts. Here is how Big Sills would redraft that class of 2020. Number 1, Joey B. Oh, woo! Joe Burrow. That guy's going to make $50 million. Hey, what I love about Eagle fans want to pay Jalen 50. And that's the price tag Joe Burrow's getting. And you think they're the same? I don't know. I'm like looking at a Yugo or a 65 Impala versus a Dino, a Ferrari. I don't know about you. But if someone goes, Sills, I want you to pay for the Volkswagen. $50 million. Can I get the Ferrari, the Dino? Yeah. Well, give me the Dino. Give me the Dino. Same price? Why are you trying to sell me a Volkswagen? I don't want the Volkswagen for the same price. Give me Burrow. Jesus. $50 million. Who do you want? I don't want the VW. Why do I have to be forced to take the VW? Number 2, Justin Herbert, baby. Justin Herbert's going to make $50 million. He just needs a new coach. How can you be a defensive-minded coach in your defense with all the moves you made in the offseason is atrocious? Your quarterback's putting up historical numbers. Historical numbers. You got Derwin James, Joey Bosa. You got Khalil Mack. You made all these moves and you suck. Sean Payton is going to take that job, and Sean Payton is going to be Justin Herbert's coach. I guarantee it. And that guy's going to win Super Bowls because of Sean Payton. Sean Payton's going to be his coach in January. Then we'll see. Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley. Can I tell you who I see in Brandon Staley? Jonathan Gannon. Jonathan Gannon and Brandon Staley are the same dudes. And Jonathan Gannon will have the same success that Brandon Staley is having. Because let me say this to you. If Jonathan Gannon goes to a football team like the Carolina Panthers, he'll be fired in 2 years. Number 3, if I had to redo the 2020 NFL Draft, at 3, I would take Jalen Hurts. I would probably take Jalen Hurts right where Jordan Love was taken at 26. Think about that. Think about what your quarterback has now done. He's gone from being a suspect number 53 pick where all of you hated the number 2 pick when he was initially picked in 2020, and you know it. You all hated it. And now, today, on December 9th, we're all good saying this. I'd take Jalen Hurts at number 26. The Jordan Love wouldn't be a first rounder. He'd be a 3rd or 4th. And here's what I would say with Tua. I think Tua would be in the 30s. I think he'd be in the 30s. So in that 2020 class, outside of Jordan Love getting his ass out, Jalen takes over for Jordan Love. And your 4 quarterbacks would be Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, and Tua Tagovailoa. Instead of Burrow, Tua, Herbert, Love, Hurts going in the 2nd round. Pretty remarkable what Jalen has done. Jeremy, yo, Sills, what do you think the Eagles give Jalen Hurts? Hey, James, that's fair. I didn't hate the pick. I was confused by the pick because there were other needs on the team. Yeah, I didn't. Really. Go back and read all the boards and what people were posting. Tell me if you like that Jalen Hurts pick at number 2. Yeah, okay. Oh, my God. You know you're full of shit when you can't even admit your own self did those comments. That's when you know you're out of your mind. What do I give Jalen Hurts? Man, that's the $75 million question. It really is. To me, I think it's length and guarantee. Not so much in the annual number. I want my contract to resemble the guy in Cleveland's. But see, Hurts hasn't done anything yet to quantify that. He hasn't shown the ability yet where he's going to be a franchise. Jalen has not shown yet. He has for 12 games. That's a small sample. We started our program out yesterday. Almost 99% of everybody in Philadelphia was completely sold that Carson Wentz was the guy. You were all sold. So much so, your organization gave him $32 million a year. And he had a small sample size. You're going to do that again? Haven't you learned your lesson? Why don't you let things play out? Why don't you see what he wins? Dude, you want Dak Prescott? Dak Prescott wins a lot of games, puts a lot of numbers up. Does he win significant games? No. Don't be in that kind. You don't know yet. I don't know yet what Hurts is going to win. I don't know. You don't either, because he hasn't won anything. Some of you will go like this. Well, what has Herbert and Josh Allen won? The difference there is when I watch those guys play, I see a better player. That's why those guys are paid. They're better players. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to decipher that. Like, when you take weapons away from Patrick Mahomes and it doesn't matter, or you don't have a running game in Buffalo and it doesn't matter. You got bad coaching in Los Angeles with the Chargers, but the guy's still putting up historic numbers, and it doesn't matter. Jalen's playing the best football of his career. He's playing perfect MVP football. What happens when he's not? Can he carry a team? I don't think he can. I don't think he can. Both your receivers are out 1 week. You think you can win a ball game against the Dallas Cowboys? Absolutely not. Do I think Mahomes can? Yeah, I do. Do I think Burrow can? I do. Do I think Allen can? I do. If everybody was taken off those teams, I completely do. Now we want to take away players. No. I'm paying for guys that when adversity hits, we still win. Oh, let's pay. Dude, if that's the case, Kirk Cousins would be the highest paid player in the league. This guy's going to have another this guy's going to have 8 4,000-yard passing years in his career in Minnesota. 8 out of the last 11. 8 4,000. You got one dude that did it one time in franchise history. One. Numbers. Jimmy Garoppolo, you hate him. He's 45-19, and you don't want to pay him. And you hate him, and you wouldn't want him as a face. Okay. So what's the metric on you're going to pay? Guys, 11-1? Not good enough for me at all. Hurts better win a playoff game. Oh, absolutely. He was atrocious in the first one he played in, but that's okay. A lot of guys. I mean, look at Peyton Manning. If you look at Peyton Manning's postseason numbers, they're not very good. Oh, wait, I'll take it back. They're not as good as his regular season. Not even remotely close. Completion percentage, down 10 points. His one-loss record is terrible. I think it's 13-12. Not like he had massive amount of winning. Okay? Wow, so 11-1 means nothing? No. Because next year that schedule will be different. Getting home field advantage and winning the NFC East matters. Yes. Okay. What's this guy's name? Mask. What's more important to you? Being 14-3 or winning the East and winning home field advantage? What's more important to you? Your record or home field advantage? Home field advantage. I don't care what that record says. I have no caring what the record says. I care for home field advantage, winning my division, and getting to the conference championship game. That's why you pay guys. And that's why when you look at certain dudes that you think can get you to that game, You pay him the money. Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray. How about the guy we watched last night making $38 million and Derek Carr? Would you pay Derek Carr $38 million? Would you pay Derek? So wait a minute here. Derek Carr has put up some pretty good numbers, been a top 10 quarterback the last 5 years, numbers-wise. Would you pay Derek Carr $38 million? Would you pay Derek Carr $38 million? Would you want Derek Carr as your quarterback? He's not bad. But $38 million? Sills, that's the market value. No. Franchise tag is going to be $32 million. So we're kind of in the room there. I'm all right with paying Derek Carr that. Derek Carr hasn't won either. And what makes it worse is that he's not winning regular season games. This is where Jalen has the advantage. He's winning regular season games. The only reason we're in the conversation of big money is because they are 11-1. But that'll come back if they get bounced. Hey, Sills, they only lost 3 games and got bounced in the opening round. Okay, Dak 2.0. I'm not paying. My problem with Derek Carr is, I don't know. He's $32 million or it's $38 million. Derek Carr makes $38 million? Shit, I don't see it. I would have, watch this. I'm going to win more games with Garoppolo, paying him $25 million, saving $18 or $16 million on my cap so I can go get a wideout. Sign me up for Jimmy G any day. I'm going to get the same winning and Devontae Adams and keep Josh Johnson or keep the running back and keep everybody in the building and win the same amount of games with Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, but Sills, he's not. How many Mahomeses are there? 1? That's why when you start paying these guys, you got to think about, remember, it's a team sport, friends. It's a team sport. It's a team sport. The quarterback that figured that out the most, and guys, do I think Jalen is going to take top dollar? No. I don't. Because he knows and he does a lot of the same shit. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. I had a conversation with Tom House. Remember, who was the first guy to report to you that Jalen Hurts was working with Tom House? Xander, am I right when I say, hey, there's reports that Jalen Hurts is working with Tom House in Southern California? I did that in March or like February. That he was working with nobody in Philly believed it. Came out a couple months later that it turned out to be true. Okay? Can I tell you what Tom House told me? He did more talking about how Brady was able to win so much more so than any other quarterback in the history of the sport. You know what he said? Brady always took haircuts and his salary. Brady's a guy that reinvested in himself. Instead of taking back in the day $35 million, he took $25 million or $26 million in New England. And you know what he would do with the other 10? They would keep Darrelle Revis. They would keep offensive linemen. They would keep Gronkowski. They would pay Edelman and Amendola or Welker. What happened with Brady and Belichick at the end was they stopped doing that. That's what pissed them off. Look at it now. Who are the playmakers in New England? They don't have any. Okay? They don't. This isn't New England. You can only pray you were New England. Look at this idiot. They got 6 banners. 6. 6 banners because of the way they did business. This is a copycat league, guy. Yeah, I know. You're damn right, Mask. It's not New England. You light the team on fire every 3 years. Howie lights the team on fire, takes it out back, throws it in the trash can, lights it on fire. Come January, the team will be lit on fire again. You got 16 free agents and a quarterback you got to pay. Congratulations. That's quite. Then again, he likes being the rock star, though. Showtime goes, I think Jalen will take something in the 30s. Showtime, so you think he's going to take the same amount of money that Justin Jefferson's going to be offered in Minnesota? Not likely. Clutch Sports is not going to go there with that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Do I think that? We'll get to week 14 predictions, too. We'll do that at the top. By the way, my boy Jason Cole has an MVP vote. We're going to ask him in hour number 3 who he's voting for. There's going to be some interesting ball games to watch this week. I'll be watching that Cowboy game versus the Texans. Be interesting to see because the teams that the Cowboys have been playing lately, they've been killing. And those are the teams that the Eagles, I don't want to say struggle, but kind of kept them in the ball game. Okay? I'm awake. When you come into the link, Sills, you're welcomed. Hey, man, let me say this to you. I posted some pictures over on my Twitter page of me being at the link. I've been there. How many times I've been to Philadelphia and the link? Oh, by the way, did you see me with the Philadelphia police? We had them in my cousin has a suite at Lincoln Financial. Hey, Bob, I forgot that. Bob, Eagles. My cousin's company has a suite at Lincoln Financial for Eagle games. Come on, guys. He spends $400,000 a year for it. Come on, man. I've been in that suite a bunch of times. I actually watched the game with David Robinson. I posted a picture of my cousin. Allison is with David Robinson and the Philadelphia police. We had them all come in and sit in there. I think we had 2 Medal of Honor winners. And we watched the Army-Navy game. Yeah. And then the next day, I think the Eagles played. It was really cool. I had the whole entire Philadelphia police in there. They're sitting out front of the suite there at the link, right? I stick my head out. I go, what are you guys doing? We had a ton of food, all kinds of shit in there. I posted pictures of it. All kinds of stuff, man. There was gourmet food everywhere. It was a wonderful time. Wonderful time. Oh, my God. I took my cousins down to meet Trump. They met Trump. He showed up at the game. Brought him down, met a couple 5-star generals. Secretary of the Navy came in and sat with us. Roger Staubach, Pete Dawkins came in. Honestly, I had to post pictures because no one would believe it. So then the police, the Philly police are out there, and I go, come on in, get in here. And my cousin Joe Nagro, who is the CEO of this company, he said, yeah, come on in. There was about 10 of them. And they all came into the suite. We had a fabulous time. Cops were sitting there. They couldn't drink. They just ate. It was a blast. Man, by the way, I love the Philadelphia police gear. They look great. Those leather jackets, they were fabulous, man. Absolutely. Look at Scott. MAGA. No, the president was the president at the time. I just happened to be there. And the Secretary of the Navy and the commander, or what was it, the commandant of West Point brought us down to meet the president. Sorry, dude. I'm not that guy. I don't give a shit. Okay, the president of the United States. I'd go meet Joe Biden. I'd go meet Biden. He's the president of the United States. I don't care. Back to blue, baby. I loved it, man. That was a great time. Sileo's a rat to the cops. Yeah, I am. If I see a crime, I'll report it. You're damn right. If I see an injustice, would I report it? You're damn right. You're damn right. because I don't like people taking advantage of other people. Absolutely. Speaking of that, I do think the Eagles are going to take advantage of the New York Giants on Sunday. I do think that. I think Brian Dable has done a really nice job. I think he's done a hell of a job with the New York Giants. I think Wink Martindale is going to blitz as much as he possibly can Jalen Hurts. And I do think the running backs this week have quite a chore ahead of them. In my opinion, blocking and picking up blitzing is going to be essential. And to me, that means, again, Miles Sanders, he's probably the best blocking back they have. So if you don't see a lot of yards this week and Jalen throws for 375 yards, you can almost guarantee the third guard that's in the huddle was Miles Sanders. Okay? Too many injuries on the New York sideline right now. Martell, I do think too. I think he's going to. It's going to be here. This is how I would game. If I'm the Eagles, I almost throw in the same game plan that I had against the Titans. Okay? Because what's the number one thing that the Giants can do? They can stop the run. They're not as efficient as the Titans, but they can. And I think they're a little bit better pass rushers. Okay? I think they're a little bit better in the pass rushing. But I think their secondary is less than what I saw last week against the Titans. So to me, A.J. Brown all day. I don't think the New York Giants have anybody that can cover him. I think A.J. Brown might have his best game of his career. I don't see anyone in New York that can defend him. I just don't. Big Sills fan club, I got one? Holy cow, Xander. Yeah. Dude, if no Barkley, man. Hey, no Barkley, I get the lead. I take my dudes out in the third. Okay? I take them out because I don't need anybody injured. I need guys as healthy as I can. And again, know this, guys. I'll make a point to you too. The record is not important. Home field advantage is important. You need all of your players healthy for Christmas Eve. Okay? You need all your players healthy for Christmas Eve. Remember I said that. You want Goddard's coming back next week. Avonte Maddox is back this week. I wish to God they could get Gardner Johnson back. I don't think he'll be back for that game. Jordan Davis will have more snaps. Okay? 11 wins is not important compared to home field advantage. Getting the bye and winning the East. No, I could give a shit about your record. I care more about winning the East. Hey, I'm not going to say it again. Last time. Winning the East, home field advantage, the playoffs run through Philly, like in 17. It's all you need. All you need. Whatever that looks like. No one cares. You have the playoffs in your grasp right now. Okay, I'm going to ask a question here about Jalen. On a scale of 1 to 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think the national perception is of Jalen Hurts? You think the country knows who he is? You think the country respects his game? 3, 7, 10. Yeah, okay. 6, Brian, 0. What do you think? I mean, On a scale of 1 to 10 when it comes to popularity. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at the most popular players. Top 5. Here are the top 5 players in the NFL. This is just according to the fans. Tagovailoa, 2023 Pro Bowl top vote getters. Tua, Justin Jefferson, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. You got a wide receiver and a tight end. That's more popular than your guy in Philly. Pretty much what I thought. The guy's going fake news. These are the top vote getters for the Pro Bowl. Your guy's not in it. But he's the top vote getter for the quarterback play in the NFC because there's such great play this year. These are your most popular players, according to the fans around the country. This is not a big Sills thing. 2023 Pro Bowl top 5 vote getters. There they go. Where's Jalen? Dude, the guy Tagovailoa? A wideout and a tight end. Look at that. A wideout and a tight end are more popular than your guy. Oh, what's the take? I don't get it. Here it comes. Here comes the take. I think Jalen Hurts has played as consistent and as good a football as anybody in this league, including Mahomes. He has arguably been, for 12 weeks, the most consistent quarterback. Has he put up those gaudy numbers that Patrick Mahomes has? No. He doesn't have a shiny star yet. No one looks at him as a superstar. They look at him as a future star. And what happens with future stars? They're still suspect on them because they could be shooting stars like Wentz. The reason that Jalen Hurts doesn't have a shiny star like the rest of these guys, because he hasn't won anything significant. He hasn't beaten any quarterback of significance. He hasn't beat Brady. He beat Rodgers. And I don't care the team was down. That's a significant win. That goes on your pelt. And Scott goes, same as Herbert. I think people look at the gaudy numbers, and it's why it masks the fact that he's 6-6. Because when they look at the prolific, dude, half the league are fantasy football fans too, and I get it. And I think that's why Jalen is. Hey, by the way, I think his star's getting brighter and brighter every week. You got me wrong here. I'm not saying that he's never going to. I think his star is getting brighter and brighter every week. I completely think that. But this is a one-year wonder right now. Actually, it's a 12-game wonder. That's why people aren't sold nationally. It's 12 games. How could you be a star in 12 games? You can't be. Unless you win significant games. Here's where I'm going. That game on December 24th, how much will it matter to the team by then? I don't know. I think the Eagles have a good shot at going into that game with one loss. Cowboys got 3, you know. The only other team you got to kind of be concerned about is Minnesota, and you've got the tiebreaker against them. So if you tie with them, they have 2 losses, you have 2 losses, you're still going to get home field. The Vikings aren't really the concern. And I'm not saying to you the Cowboys are. So I think you're going to be okay. But what I do think is this. That game on Christmas Eve, the entire country is going to watch Jalen Hurts against the Dallas Cowboys. Do you know that Packer game with the Dallas Cowboys drew 35 million people with streaming and network television. 35 million. Watch those two teams play. You're going to have probably a 11-3 team versus like a 13-1 team. That thing on Christmas Eve is going to get gargantuan numbers. Gargantuan. Jalen Hurts has a chance to put himself on center stage for people outside of Philly. I'll tell you what I agree with you guys. I love how you revere your athletes in your city. It's unlike any other city in the country outside of maybe Boston. Chicago too. Okay? When you play in Philly, Boston, and Chicago, and you are stars in those respected cities, they revere you and love you, build statues to you. Okay? There's no question. And that's why you always look at New York and Los Angeles and go, why do those teams always get the love? Because that's where the media is. That's where the clicks are. That's where the notoriety is. Odell Beckham, look at what he's talking about doing. He's either going to go to Dallas or he's going to go to the New York Giants. Why? Marketing. He ain't going for championships. He's already got it. This guy wants to go back to New York. He wants to be on Madison Avenue. Market Street, Madison Avenue. Okay? Going down Broad, going down Madison Avenue. It's different in the nation's eyes. Jalen Hurts, that game matters to him because then people will look at him and watch his versatility for the first time, really. You see the nation, you know what they know about Jalen Hurts? He lost his job in Alabama, and he's playing pretty good ball right now. That's how they see your guy. Oh, he's 11-1? Then you start looking at the schedule, and you start picking away at it. It's like a scab. You start picking at it. Well, he's not really those guys. You see his rushing touchdowns? Nobody gives a shit about rushing touchdowns from the quarterback position. There is no franchise quarterback in the NFL that stat matters to, except your guy. Do you understand that? There's nobody in the NFL where you do this. Hey, Mahomes, man, he has a shitload of rushing touchdowns. You see Joe Burrow take off? Nobody gives a shit about that. And I can't stand the comment when people make about, why don't you throw Allen in that conversation? Because Allen is a 10 times more gifted passer. 10 times, not close. Greg Cosell calls Josh Allen one of the top 5 talents he's ever seen at the quarterback position. I don't remember that in assessment being thrown at Jalen Hurts' feet. The reason he went in the second round. Cam Newton, Michael Vick. Cam won kind of. Michael Vick didn't win shit. It didn't matter to Lamar. What's Lamar won so far with that style? He's won a regular season MVP, a boatload of games, and nothing in the postseason. You're right. He's got a lot in common. The only difference is Lamar's a better passer. Lamar's led the NFL in touchdown passes. He threw for 36. He was a unanimous MVP. Like Jalen would have to be this year a unanimous MVP and lead the NFL in touchdown passes. And gain 1,100 yards. And go 14-2. He has a chance at that. That's it. None of those other numbers. Here, this guy goes, what does Herbert and Allen won? Well, as I said yesterday, Scott, this is the first year he's on the $43 million contract. He's got the number 1 seed in the AFC right now. He's on schedule. We'll see how it finishes. We'll see where the Bills land up. He's in the same, watch this. You want to know something? Josh Allen has 19 turnovers, and he's in the same position Jalen's in. The number 1 seed in their conference. He's not playing flawless football. He's still the number 1 seed. Your guy's playing flawless football, and they got the number 1 seed. And they got two less losses than he does. Making it sound like Josh Allen's not 9-3. Dumb. He's in the same position. With all those turnovers and some of the games they gave away, like Minnesota. And they're still the top seed in the AFC. Who has a better record? Doesn't matter, Kai. Home field advantage, win your division, playoffs run through Buffalo. What will it matter? Watch this. Well, Jalen had a better record. He only lost 2 games, and Allen lost 3. Who went further in the playoffs? Oh, Allen did. Oh. Sounds like the Eagles not 11-1. No, the Eagles right now are the top seeded. Dude, I don't care about the record. I care the Eagles are the top seed in the East and in the NFC. It's great. They're the top seed. That's all I look at. Like the loss to Washington, at the end of the day, does it really matter? Everyone goes back and picks that scab of Washington. To me, I go back and do this. So, what do you make of the loss to the Washington Commanders? It's a nothing burger. It's a nothing burger. They didn't really get killed. Wasn't their best effort. But that's the one thing the Eagles have done this year. They're not going to get killed. They're not going to have because you know why? They're the most complete team because you ain't paying your guys shit. I've told you this before. The reason the Eagles are in the position they're in because the quarterback makes nothing. Watch this. Let me show you. This is even funnier. Jalen Hurts is the lowest paid guy in your huddle. Do you understand that? Jalen Hurts is the lowest paid guy in your offensive huddle. He's the lowest paid guy. That's remarkable. Every O-lineman makes more. The receivers make more. And the back makes more. And the backup quarterback. Seriously, it's the hidden gem here. Martell, that's another one. Jalen's not flashy. He doesn't have the spectacular. Okay, but when you watch him play like we do, you come away doing this. Man, 1 week, 153. Next week, 380. I don't care who you are. If you don't respect that, you're stupid. I do. I told you this before, and I'll say it again to you. This guy thinks himself around a game plan, and I'm comfortable saying this, in the same breath as Tom Brady. His smarts on how smart he is, you see it in his approach. He's a brilliant guy, man. Jalen Hurts is a brilliant dude. He takes all the things that he does well and all the shit he doesn't do well, and he compartmentalizes it. And then he puts it together with a game plan. He's as good as it gets with that. Here, let me give you an example of this. Jay Cutler couldn't think himself around a game plan to save his life. Jay Cutler had some of the best talent on the planet. But he couldn't think himself around a game plan to save his freaking life. How many times you watch certain guys play ball and you do this? There's always... We make this comment about Garoppolo all the time. Okay? You know what we say about him? Jimmy G's going to throw the football to the opposing guy at least twice in a game. You know the one thing that Garoppolo started doing this year that I had never seen him do? I saw Jimmy G throwing the ball away. See, Brady knew that. Punting, field position, time of possession, all of that were going to play a massive role in his success. And that's why Brady made a living dinking and dunking. Brady does low percentage passing. Jalen Hurts does low percentage passing. His wheels afford him that ability. Really, 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 really good. That game on December 24th, though, could be the game that helps him win a Most Valuable Player award. Okay? That game could win him the MVP because you're going to have voters in Chicago, Los Angeles, Seattle, who just look at box scores, see 152 yards throwing. They'll see the occasional 300-yard game. Blake Bortles threw for 500 yards. It doesn't impress these writers. The 11-1 does. How can the Bills have the great roster with the quarterback and wide receiver contract that they have? Because they've got Isaiah. They're not paying a running back. There's no running back on that team. And they're thin in the O-line. That's how. Look at the O-line you're paying. $10 million, Kelsey. $7.5 million. Dickerson's going to be up for a deal. You're going to cut, or you're going to move on from Isaiah, right? Isaac Seumalo, you're moving on from. He makes $5.5. Lane Johnson makes $10. Don't you realize and don't you remember once they started paying Russell Wilson that money? First the center went. Then the left guard went. Then the tackle went. They started losing O-linemen up and down the line. That's why there's holes in all those teams, dude. You don't have a hole in your team because your quarterback is on the soup kitchen line. Those other guys are on Madison Avenue shopping for Rolexes. Jalen Hurts is wearing a Timex. That's why you don't have any holes on your team. It's the only reason. Are there holes in Kansas City? No wideouts. But they got Kelsey. I know, they let the best wideout in the planet go. Green Bay has no wideouts. They let Devontae Adams go. Jeb goes, I'm perfectly fine with that. Well, Clutch Sports won't be. Clutch Sports won't be. I can promise you that. Man, do we have a lot to get to here. God, let's see here. T.O. wants to come back. Bradbury and the Giants. I got a great insight here for you. Tampa Bay, San Francisco will be interesting to look at here too. How about that top Pro Bowl voting? Hurts is nowhere to be seen. That's why that December 24th game is totally going to matter. It's totally going to matter. Hour number 2, we'll take a look at Week 14. Little bit from last night's game, too, as the Rams come back and win against the Raiders. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hour 2. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Did you know taxes could be your biggest expense during retirement? Are most of your assets in tax-deferred accounts like IRAs and 401ks? Taxes are historically low today, but we're facing significant headwinds in the future. Do you have a plan? The Thrive Financial team has more than 100 years of experience helping people across the Delaware Valley with forward-looking tax planning. Learn how to shift your money from forever tax to no or low tax accounts. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
What a huge week we've had here, too, on the National Football Show. I want to thank every single one of you. How you doing? Boom! Woo! Big Sales, how you doing's in the house? Football Friday, enormous week for us. All because of you. We thank you very much for coming aboard, as you do every single day. We thank you for stepping in with us. Army-Navy this week. Real quick before I get into Eagles and Giants, let me say this to you guys. That game I used to think was the worst football game on the planet till I started going to it. I went to 10 of them in a row. I'd rather go to that game than the Super Bowl. Once I started going and I started seeing and talking to those kids, some of them would not come back. Some of them were going to Afghanistan. It's the last true college football game that we have. Look at these stupid bowl games. Wake me up when the national championship semifinals. These other bowl games. Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, mean nothing. The national championship semifinals and the title game have de-emphasized the bowl season. It's the worst part of college football. No one cares. No one goes. No one has an interest. The players don't even play in them. But when you go to Army-Navy, these guys aren't pros. These guys serve their country. And when you watch the march out and you see the men and women and our nation's finest, no matter what the color is, black, white, Asian, Mexican, Italian, Jewish, all of them are there at the walkout and the march out. And you watch this thing, it's awe-inspiring. You're like, there's our country's finest right there. Boy, I get chills just talking about it. I love that game, Army-Navy. Not so much for the game, because the game, the game's been competitive, though. But I love the surrounding and everything about it. Yes, thank there's Jewish folks that are involved at Army-Navy and religious. It's really wonderful. Army-Navy, I'm more of a Navy guy. I've gone to the Army-Navy game, and I've sat, of course, with Roger Stahl. Roger Staubach's a dear friend of ours. I got a great picture of me and Roger. I think it was at a Super Bowl. He and I are really good friends, and I love Roger Staubach. Okay? I really do. So that game is such a great football game. the rest of these college games that are coming up, good for the kids, the bowl games. But, I mean, look, Will Anderson and Bryce Young, why would they play? What's the game? Xander, what are they playing in? The Sugar Bowl? Why would they play in the Sugar Bowl? Hey, Barrett Brooks' K-State may actually beat Bama. Because you know what half that roster is going to do that's going to go to the NFL? They're not going to play in it. Why would they? Okay? I'm a Navy guy. I like Navy. I salute that game, man. I watch that game and support that game as much as I can. I showed you Vince Papali. He signed that for me. Do I have a couple more? I do have some footballs. Oh, I got some really cool coins that were from Army Navy. And these guys gave them to me. This is from the National Guard and Militia of Florida that went to the game in Philadelphia a couple of years ago. And this is the aviation honor, courage, and commitment. Peace through power. And the commander of the academy gave me this for my support of Army Navy. Love that game. Love that game. Chocolate coins. Chocolate coins. Funny and very cool. All right. Giants and Eagles. Sileo wants Hurts in poverty. I could give a shit about what are you talking about? Seals, you stand up the whole show? Yeah, man. Okay. Hey, JM, good call. Xander, we should probably do that for the new year. I'll auction a couple of these Jerome Brown hats off for some of you guys. I posted a really great picture of Jerome and his best friend, Tim Jenkins, on my Twitter page. They got a nice picture of Jerome in the background. It's really cool. I posted it on my Twitter page. Hi, what up, my friend? Go Army. Navy SEAL gets it done. Ray, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Gator Navy. Okay. It's cool when Josh Allen gets paid, but it's a travesty when Hurts is about to get paid. A travesty? No. It'll be in the same line as with Josh Allen is 10 times better. There's no travesty. Kyler Murray sucks. I don't know. I see the same guy. I'm not paying Dak. I'm paying Mahomes. I'm questioning the paying of Lamar. The Dak Prescott deal is terrible. Josh Allen is a phenomenal. Let's see how many touchdown passes. Hurts is way better than who? Kyler Murray? Congratulations. Congratulations. Let me see some about Josh Allen here. God, is that guy phenomenal. Josh Allen stats. Man, what a ball player. So this guy's got 3,406 and 25 touchdowns. He's got 11 picks, and he's still the number one seed in the AFC. Man, that's my boy. Things may not go right all the time. Doesn't matter. He'll win games. Man, I love this kid. Let's take a look at the guy. So, 45, 44, 37 touchdowns, 44-07, 36 touchdowns. This year he's on pace for 46 touchdowns. And you're kidding me. This guy's 25 years old? Okay. Yeah. Josh Allen's 25 years old? I'll take him. You can have your boy. And here's Allen. Here's Allen. Here's Allen throwing 99 yards. Hey, Xander, watch this one. Boom. Here's Jalen. Let me get the arm warm up. Like throwing grenades. Here's Allen. Oh. Josh Allen, baby. Back in the pocket. 99 yards, 88 yards. Here's Jalen. It's all right. Yeah. Josh, look at Martell. Josh Allen's nowhere near as smart. Well, he's making $43 million. He's got the number 1 seed in the AFC. I think he's doing pretty well. Oh, Arthur. Yeah, really? You really I wouldn't ask a dumb question like that. Watch this. If I asked 32 general managers, who would you take to build your team around, Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen? Who do you think they would take? Honestly. Who do you think they would take? If you put Josh Allen on that Eagle team, they beat teams by 60 points. He could throw 10 picks and still beat you. They would take Hurts. 50-50. Oh, man. Dude, are you kidding? Come on. Don't be like that. 10 picks and you Cody, that's it. Josh Allen will be injured by playoffs. Not your guy, though, right? No, because they do have Miles Sanders. We'll see next year. That's a lie? What? Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills are the number 1 seed in the AFC right now. Oh, man. This is too much and too easy. James Bradbury. Josh Allen won't shit without Diggs. Oh, okay. I see. So we'll see what Jalen does without AJ or Devontae. He couldn't get – it would be like last year. Here, watch this. Hey, Xander, here it is again. Jalen Hurts in the playoffs versus the Bucs and Brady last year. Game. How the Eagles versus Brady in the playoffs last year. Game. Seals, you act like Miles Sanders had 1,000 yards. No, he's going to have 1,200 this year, 1,300. You act like he's not on pace for that. He is. He's on pace for 1,300 yards this year. What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? Look at that. Dang, he choked against the Vikings and still in the number 1 seed in the AFC. He'll have the same week off that Jalen will have. No matter what the record is. Hypothetically, let's do this. Say they are 11-4. And the Eagles are 16-1. Bill's got the same week off you got. You don't get extra points, dude. This isn't like, when you're Final Four and picking the college football playoffs. This ain't got nothing to do with that. Whether you're 16-1 or 11-4, 11 and whatever, as long as you got the bye, I got the same week off you got, doesn't really matter. That's how pathetic the AFC is. The AFC has holes in their teams. I told you this in the last hour. Why is it so hard for you to understand when you got to start paying these guys? The best quarterbacks are in the AFC. Okay, you're right. You guys face Cooper Rush and Tyler Heineke in back-to-back weeks. Let's take a look here who Allen's had to play in consecutive weeks at quarterback. You're right. Their teams aren't as gifted as your team. Well, because your quarterback is he's at the soup kitchen line. Buffalo Bills schedule.
On Sunday.
Yeah, your quarterback is on the soup kitchen line. Let's take a look at this. So, this is who Josh Allen has had to play in consecutive weeks when he's taken on quarterbacks, whereas Jalen has taken on David Mills, Kenny Pickett, Tyler Heineke, washed up Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers. The greatness of Tyler Heineke, I can't get over that one. Here's who Josh Allen's had to play in consecutive weeks. Tua, Lamar, Mahomes, Rodgers, Cousins, Burrow. And who are you playing? Let's see who the quarterbacks Jalen's played this year. Kirk Cousins, Rodgers. David Mills, Kenny Pickett. You've played bums. Played bums. Sills is skipping games. I did. There were a couple Jets in there. And the greatness of Zach Wilson. I did. Fair enough. I gotta be fair. And you know what, Sway? Sway brings up golf. He did play against golf, too. Golf's having a great year. Golf is really having a great year. Okay? Having a great year. Hurts is being supplanted by Tua at Alabama has given his kid resolve and humility. And it shows he's mature and understands what he needs to do. Stephen, agreed. I think that had a lot to do with his growth as a leader on what happened and how he, you know what, Stephen? I would make this point to you that I think the way Jalen handled it, I bet his dad had an influence in him and how he handled that. Because it was handled perfectly, I thought. Okay? Stephen goes, you should quit when we win the Super Bowl. Why, Stephen? I picked you to get there. He did? Wait a minute. Sileo picked the Eagles to get to the Super Bowl? Yeah, March. Wait, no. He couldn't have. He couldn't have. He did. And I actually picked him against the Bills. But I did pick the Bills to beat you. Jalen is humble. Too humble. Jalen Hurts is too humble. You know why? As much as Mahomes, you know what Mahomes has? I'll tell you one thing that Mahomes has. Can I tell you what I think that the Eagles don't do a very good job of? You guys don't promote your athletes ever. From your MVP and Embiid to Harper. Harper did win the MVP, I get it. But he has a national. The person in that city of Philadelphia, the only guy with a national presence is Bryce Harper. The rest of them, Embiid was third in the MVP voting. Seriously, when I saw that, I went like this. Man, this city doesn't do a very good job. And I'm talking about their professional team. How's Embiid finish third? I thought Embiid was the best player in the NBA last year. I did. I actually thought it was pretty significant of a gap. Okay? Attack whose character? I'm not attacking anybody's character. I'm just saying that he's too nice. And that's what happens when you have people that are humble. Well, let me ask you something here. He goes, Sills, don't attack his character. Let me ask you this. How do you think that helped Tim Duncan out being like Jalen Hurts? How do you think it helped him out on how people look at Tim Duncan? Tim Duncan is more accomplished than O'Neal, but people look at Shaq differently. Why? Because Tim Duncan is a humble man. He's not a bragger. He doesn't promote anything except team. Gee, sounds like Jalen Hurts. How many times did we used to say this about the Spurs getting to the NBA Finals? Oh, shit. No one's watching because the big fundamentals in it. I mean, right? And I always looked at Tim Duncan as a centerpiece of one of the greatest dynasty runs of all time. It wasn't Greg Popovich. Okay, it was the general manager, and it was Duncan, and it was Ginobili, and it was Tony Parker, and it was all those guys with those great character guys that they had in the locker room. And they had pieces to fill in. Once those guys left, Greg Popovich looks like a turd. You think that humble personality helped Tim Duncan out when it came to national recognition? Did you ever see Tim Duncan do a commercial spot? Maybe one or two in his 18 years? That's why people look at Jalen Hurts and go, what a really great year he's having. And that's where it ends. That's where it ends. They look at Burrow, Mahomes, Allen in a whole different light. Then it's your guy. And Dak. By the way, he's in the same category as Dak. Here, if you had to put the most popular quarterbacks, that's a great topic. The most popular quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Mahomes. Who would be two? Who would be the second most popular quarterback? Allen or Burrow? Or Dak? Cowboys. Who's the second most popular quarterback? Jeremiah. By the way, hey, Wick, those are the two best. I'm talking Brady. Then Dak. Burrow. Then Allen. Lamar. Herbert, he's in LA. Shit's Matthew Stafford, he's been injured this year too much. Rodgers. Let's see. I got Mahomes. These are the most popular quarterbacks. Mahomes, Brady, Dak, Burrow, Allen, Lamar, Herbert, Rodgers. You put Herbert because he's in Los Angeles. And every single topic sports shows have nationally is about Aaron Rodgers. Shit, you might even put Baker Mayfield in that conversation. Jared Goff, really? You think of Detroit? Is Hurts ninth? Or is Zach Wilson popular? Geno. No. Russell Wilson. Then Geno. Tua. Shit, where's Tua? Tua's not 11th. Tua's not 11th. I'd say Tua is ahead of Lamar at 6. I think he's 6. Tua. I'd have Jalen Hurts at 12. Most popular quarterback in the NFL. It would go Hurts, Geno, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Tagovailoa, Allen, Burrow, Dak, Brady, Mahomes. Those are your 12 most popular quarterbacks. I'm trying to think with Kyler Murray. I don't think Kyler Murray is Kyler Murray more popular than well, he makes more, but does that mean he's more popular? No, because they're not winning. Someone goes here, who cares? You want to win the MVP, guy? You should care. You should care. You want justice for your guy? You should freaking care. And that's the point I'm making. Nobody cares in Philly? Well, don't bitch about it at the end of the year when guys like Joel Embiid don't win the MVP or Hurts doesn't win it because they don't know who the hell he is. Eagles should do more promoting. More promoting of their athletes. Shit, the Patriots do. Chargers do. Don't care. Well, then don't bitch about it when they don't win. Those accolades and wonder why. Everyone hates Philly. No. No one watches it. How many times do you tune on the television set and go, what's this guy talking about? Because they don't watch you. I will say this to you. One more time. You're lucky I cover you. Because no one else is. Except the people locally. No one else covers you. And I'm not saying me. I'm saying someone like me covering you. Could be anybody. But at least cover the damn team. Okay? They need to do watch this, 11-1. Nobody's talking except for this. The Eagles having a really good year. How many times you hear people say, that's really set up for the next couple years? It's not. Your team is not set up for the next couple years. As a matter of fact, it'll be a completely different looking team next year. Howie designs it like that. Get over yourselves. You don't have a dynasty on the horizon. This general manager doesn't allow dynasties. He lights them on fire. Would it shock you if Nick Sirianni got fired in 3 years? Would it shock you? Would it shock you if Nick Sirianni got fired in 3 years? And don't say, he'll never be fired. I'm pretty sure after Doug won the Super Bowl, you were pretty sold that Doug would never be fired. So you can't go on that limb. Why would he get fired, Derek? Why would you fire Doug Peterson after he won a Super Bowl a couple years later? Let me ask you this then. Why would he get fired? Why would Doug get fired? He did something no other coach in the history of your franchise was able to do in the Super Bowl era. Why would he get fired? Andy Reid didn't do what he did. Andy Reid didn't have the success Doug Peterson had. Why would he get fired? Power struggle? Oh, so that's going away though, right? So when Nick starts winning Coach of the Year awards and they start winning more, that guy who stands out front of the locker room, patting his players and his coaches on the head, letting everyone know it's his team. You don't think there'll be a power struggle? Howie will not allow dynasties. His ego can't take it. Jerry Jones can't allow dynasties. His ego can't take it. That's why they haven't won since Jimmy left. The reason they succeeded in New England is because Belichick and Brady didn't have anybody in the way. There were no GMs. Kraft didn't get in the way. Kraft just wants to win. There's no like middleman in New England when Brady and him were there. They learned to coexist. Howie doesn't like to coexist. He likes all of it. That's why you won't have a dynasty. Am I wrong? He lit your last dynasty on fire. We never said nothing about a dynasty. That was Irvin that stated that. Dallas got 4. I'm not talking about the Cowboys. The Cowboys always have free agents. Why do they? Because they spend too much money. Keeps Howie in the spotlight. Look at Bob hitting it. Look at Bob hitting it. Bob, here's what you got here, though, with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is exactly like Tom Brady in so many ways. And I'm going to make the comparison again to Tim Duncan. Follow me here, okay? What he was able to do, Tim Duncan managed Greg Popovich's ego. He took a submissive role and yet a dominating performance. And he kept the locker room happy, wanting to win, wanting to show up to work. I feel Jalen does the same thing. How about Nick and his emotional bullshit sometimes on the sidelines, getting up and down like that? Dude, the calmest guy on the sidelines every single Sunday is your quarterback. It's not your coach. And Jalen, because of his schooling, because of his experience, because of his work ethic, all the things you talk about, is the calmest guy on the sidelines. He's going to be the buffer between Sirianni and Howie. Carson Wentz could never do that. When Carson Wentz left that Seattle game, it was the end of Wentz. It wasn't the Rams injury. When he didn't go back on the field, that was the demise of it all. Because Doug didn't have anyone in the middle. Plus, he had Frank Reich, the man who recommended Nick Sirianni to Jeffrey Lurie. And how we know this? Frank said it on our show. Jalen is going to keep the team together better this time than the 17 team was. He's going to keep this thing together because of his experience. Bob says Jalen's humble. Might be the kryptonite to how he's it. Bob, that's exactly what I'm saying, Bob. Bob, the thing you have with Jalen, he is a smart businessman. He is, bro, I'm going to give it to you. And I am going to concede this. This guy here is absolutely spectacular in running a locker room. Do you agree with me, Bob, that one of the great things about Jalen Hurts has been this? Every teammate loves him. You never hear anyone talking shit on him. You didn't hear anybody in – did you ever see that Oklahoma video of him when he was there and he made that transfer? And they're all sitting there and they're all cheering him on when he squatted. I was like, damn, that guy just got there 5 weeks ago and he's already got the entire building loving him. I was like, that's incredible. He's carried that over to the NFL. Outside of the idiotic Antonio Brown, have you ever heard anybody say anything negative about Tom Brady. Chalk it up. Hey, Sills, is there a way to quantify Jalen Hurts' value when it comes to being the buffer and the neutral party between GM and coach? Chalk it up, sports. Let me ask you this. Do you think that will become an issue again down the line where a coach and a general manager gets in the way of each other? There's precedent. I ask all you. Again, I'm not indicting anything here. I'm asking. Do you think the general manager, let's do this. Chalk it up, sports goes, I do. If the Eagles win the Super Bowl, who wants complete credit for it? Howie's ego's dangerous, period. Dude, it's not so much his drafting that's dangerous. It's Roseman's ego that's dangerous. He lit your 2017 championship team. Well, the next year, after the Saints playoff game, he lit it on fire. Okay? He lit it on fire. But you know what? I think the reason, and this is where I was going yesterday, can I tell you why I think Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen have done a better job than what I think Doug Peterson would have done with Jalen? Because they know how. Get this. You guys remember something in the offseason here? By the way, we're just talking here. When you're 11-1, we're just talking here because it's working. There's no shade I'm throwing. I'm just talking here about what to keep an eye on as this. Hey, do we all agree? The more the success of the Eagles, the more that Howie wants to grab the spotlight. Is that fair? Tell me I'm wrong. Sirianni's not going to grab the spotlight. Nick's too emotional to grab the spotlight. You know what Nick Sirianni's kind of? He's almost like a Ditka. He's almost like a friendly Ditka. Shirts and screaming at the fans, talking shit. I mean, there's like a Ditka quality to him. Right? He's just not a jackass. Mike could be a jackass. Right? I think this coaching staff knows how to handle, because remember what happened? Xander, you can remember this. You guys remember what happened in the offseason? Yeah, I went to Howie and I asked him if I could get Zach Pascal from the Colts over here, and he was cool with it. They came up with the money. I'm paraphrasing. He went to the general manager and said, do you think we can get this guy? Instead of going, when Mike Tomlin goes to management, Andy Waddell and them guys, and he goes to that whole management group, he goes, this is who I want. I want this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy, this type of guy, that type of guy. Get him for me. Okay? This guy's going up there. And remember what he said too? Hey, we even have Howie involved in some of the game plan stuff. We already know Sirianni doesn't care about the spotlight because he gave up play calling willingly. You think so? Willingly? That was his forte, though, Tone, when he came into Philly. But you know what I think Sirianni did? Hey, Tone, you guys want me to tell you a little bit of behind the scenes here? How many times has Frank Reich been on our program? 3. And when he was the head coach of the Colts. So this offseason, I think, Xander, this was around when your pop talked to him. He called me up after that, had a great experience too with Xander's dad and a show they did. Very inspirational. I said, hey, man, why did Sirianni give up the play calling? You know what Nick said? I'm more of a Rivers guy. I'm more of a traditional drop back. You notice the 2 and 5, what we were doing? And then versus after? Shane's more of an RPO guy. He understands that style. a lot more, and he understands the components and pieces we'll need to put that offense together. Nick Sirianni is involved in approach and situational play calling. He's not that much anymore involved in the construction of the particular plays that are in the playbook. That's where Steichen is. And when you see and hear, and you're watching Nick on the sideline, it's Shane in the quarterback's ear, and it's Nick. Also, you basically have Frank Reich and Doug Peterson here, except on an RPO level. Shane Steichen's 19-4 since he took over 2-5. You think there's any coincidence to that? And what's the one guy, the one man that Jalen Hurts constantly refers to when he talks about watching, when it comes to watching film on a quarterback? Phillip Rivers. And why is that? Nick was the wide receiver coach in San Diego. Shane was the wide receiver coach in Indianapolis. The OC, Nick Sirianni. Oh, and by the way, they all worked for Mike McCoy, who's now the offensive coordinator in Jacksonville. And Mike McCoy was the head coach of the Chargers. They got a circle here. They all talk. Nick goes like this to him. Hey, damn, we're struggling with the offense. This was last year. He goes, Shane knows the RPO. You know he does. He worked with Jacoby Brissett. To Nick's credit. Hey, this guy will do a better job. I'm still involved. It's not that he's not involved. But Shane's the guy that's constructing these plays. Sills, there were 18 players who wasn't on the Eagles, lost to the Bucs last year. They're a better football team. Giving up the play calling, it is a mission of failure in the same eyes. Sirianni didn't care about it, made it how it looked. Tone, I don't really think Tone, I tell you what, I think he saved his job last year when he was 2-5. Nick Sirianni was in over his skis as the play caller for the Eagles. He would have been fired. And you know what he decided to do? He looked to a guy who was more qualified to put RPOs together, Shane Steichen. That's a credit. You know what that's called? That's called delegating power. That's called being comfortable in your own skin. Also, you trust the guy, not to backstab you like Mike Shanahan did to Dan Reeves in Denver. Mike Shanahan stabbed Dan Reeves in the back in Denver with John Elway. After they made Mike Shanahan the OC in Denver, they were going to the Bolins and telling him, this guy's over his head, this guy's past his prime. John Elway, all of them, they backstabbed the coach. Look at what you saw a couple of years ago when you had Hugh Jackson as the head coach of the Browns and you had the quarterback and Baker Mayfield backstabbing the coach along with the defensive coordinator, Greg Robinson. Greg Robinson thought he was going to get the head coaching job in Cleveland. What happened? They said, we're not having any of that. That tells you a lot also about Howie. Howie goes, you're going to get the play calling up? There's more heat on the head coach when you do that, because then you look at Mike McCarthy, and I would say this to you. Mike McCarthy, he's not the play caller in Dallas. Kellen Moore is. Well, what if Dallas gets bounced again? Kellen Moore's been there 5 years. Enough. Enough. Nick definitely made the moves. Nick can still be choked himself. I think Nick did a great job at delegating. Dude, my coach, and I tell you guys this all the time, my coach, Jimmy Johnson, never coached a play in his entire life that I was ever on the sidelines with him. A couple of years in the pros, 3 years at Miami. I don't ever remember him making a call. I never remember him making a call. You know what he would do? He would manage his assistants, and he would hire great assistants, and he would get great personnel in the building. That is the number one. And he would manage timeouts going into the half and going into the end of the game. Jimmy was a good clock manager. You never saw the Cowboys run out of timeouts or time. This guy was a great coach, man, but he never coached you. His assistants coached you. Coach Johnson never told me a technique, never told me where to put my hands or my head or any of that. He had his assistant coaches do it. That's delegating power. That's delegating. You're only as good as the team around you. Tone, that also means your coaching staff. JM, I would say Andy, though. I think Andy's more involved in. See, you want to know why the offensive coordinator in Kansas City can't get a job? Because he's not the play caller. And everybody thinks they could duplicate. Well, Andy Reid wasn't the play caller in Green Bay. It was Mike Holmgren. How many Andy Reids are there? That was luck. Remember they tried that shit with Joe Philbin in Miami? Joe Philbin was the quarterback coach in Green Bay after Andy left. Remember that? Joe Philbin gets hired in Miami. He sucked. He sucked. I wonder what the headlines were in the Inquirer and on Sports Talk Radio when Andy Reid got the job in Philly and he had never been a coordinator in his life. And the only thing he had ever done was won a punt, pass, and kick contest at the LA Coliseum. I mean, getting Brett Favre water, I don't know how I would have acted. I don't know how I would have acted. He's the quarterback coach. What does he know? Mike Holmgren calls all the plays. That's why Eric Bieniemy can't get a sniff. Eric Bieniemy doesn't call the plays. What are you, nuts? How many people believe Eric Bieniemy calls the offensive plays for Patrick Mahomes? I don't. Hey, I don't. Yeah, hey, Eric Bieniemy gets the he should get a head coaching job. Again, why? You want to take a gamble? Hey, I'd rather hire Lovie Smith than Eric Bieniemy. Why? Because he works with Mahomes? There's also a drawback to that. I mean, people are looking at Byron Leftwich right now. I love Byron Leftwich. I think Byron Leftwich should get an opportunity. Played the position. Hey, if Frank Reich can get a head coaching job, Byron Leftwich should get a head coaching job. He was offered the Marshall job. He turned it down, and he was offered the Jags job, but he didn't want to go to work with Trent Baalke. He didn't want to go to work there, even though he's a Jag legend. He's not, I'm not doing that. I actually like Byron Leftwich more than I like Eric Bieniemy. He is the play caller through LaShawn McCoy confirmed that in an interview. Then why? Okay, flex? Really? So LaShawn McCoy is telling you that he's the play caller? Then why hasn't he had a job? Why doesn't he have a job? They gave the Houston Texans job to Lovie Smith. You don't think Bieniemy could have took that gig? Now, do I think it's got something to do with his past? I do. All the arrest. I think it's got something to do with that. And are African Americans, are they covered differently as coaches and players? No question. You got to do it better. It's unfortunate. And you don't get the time. And you get mostly shitty jobs. That's a fact. LaShawn McCoy called out Bieniemy a while ago, said he's not a head coach because he sucks at handling people and players. Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what he did. When LaShawn McCoy went into Kansas City, he went into there and he started talking shit to LaShawn McCoy immediately. Remember, he was pissed off at him. Thought he dealt with him with disrespect. He's the play caller. Shady hates him. How can that be? Martell, I don't know why. Listen, if you're giving Kevin Stefanski and Brandon Staley and Nick Sirianni and Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen opportunities, I have no idea why Eric Bieniemy hasn't at least had more interviews. And by the way, if Brian Flores doesn't get a head coaching job, I'm not saying this because he's black. I'm saying this because of the job he did in Miami. I told you this before. I don't want a black coach as my head coach. I want the right man as mine. I don't care what that looks like. Men want to be led, whatever that looks like. Unfortunately, it has to be open to everyone. There's so many great assistant coaches. Hey, man, I'll tell you what. I hope Deion becomes an NFL head coach. Deion Sanders is going to destroy the Pac-12. The coaching staff he's going to assemble in Colorado is going to be off the charts. You watch. I saw that he got a guy and he's flipped the guy already. That's a 5-star recruit. Dude. look at what Xander says. I hope he takes the Bama job. I'd rather have him than Debo over in Clemson. Dabo Sweeney. Deion not getting that Auburn job is a criminal crime. Hugh Freeze, what a scumbag. I mean, Deion, Colorado, man, is going to be unbelievably awesome. I'm a fan now of Colorado. I'm rooting for Deion. You think we should sign Baker as Jalen's backup next year? No, I don't want a rock star backup. That guy's I hate that guy. It's the holidays, Aunt Betty. I dislike that guy. I do. I don't need it. Okay? I don't need it. Auburn doesn't want to be great. That's a damn shame. It was, man. Sanders says something just now about Baker Mayfield. That was a hell of a throw. The problem with Baker Mayfield, those throws have too big a gaps in them. It's like they're miles. It's like the Grand Canyon. When's the next time we'll see that? 14 more games? I forgot what week it was, but earlier in the season, him and Mahomes was going back and forth, and Mahomes wanted 6. OC took 3, and he had to break him up. It's player relationship. Eric Bieniemy has a reputation for not being a player's coach. Then again, Bill Belichick had that. It's something that he has to work on. He wants to be a head coach. Eric Bieniemy has to work on being a better people guy. Same thing Belichick had to. Remember, Belichick did get fired in Cleveland. Okay? He got fired in Cleveland because of personnel decisions he made. And Modell fired his ass. And when asked the question, when Kraft called Art Modell about Bill Belichick, you know what he said? You'll regret this thing as much as you ever did in your life. He's the worst people guy going. Well, if you remember what happened, Belichick went to the coaching staff with the Jets. And Parcells read him the riot act. You got to learn to be a better guy. You got to learn to be a better dude. And Belichick went, what do you mean? He goes, well, and I told you the story. One day, Lawrence Taylor fell asleep in a meeting. And after the meeting, he went over to Parcells and he says, just want you to know Lawrence Taylor was 5 minutes late and he fell asleep in the meeting. Bill looked at him and went, why'd you start the meeting? He goes, well, everybody else was in there. No, not everybody. When that guy does that, he's not anybody. You have to know the totem pole. Jimmy Johnson used to tell us this. There's Emmett, and then there's Bob Smith. It's your job to climb that totem pole in importance in here. Okay? You think I'm going to treat Emmett Smith like Bob Smith? Oh, you got the wrong team, kid. Okay? Hey, Scott goes, you're talking about 97. No, I'm talking about today. Oh, you're right. Tom Brady gets treated the same as Bob Smith. I got to take a timeout on that one. Week 14 of the NFL. Plus, I'm going to ask Jason Cole, who has not only a Hall of Fame vote, but he also has an MVP vote. Is he voting for Jalen Hurts? 5:30 Eastern. We'll find out. Hour 3. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Did you know taxes could be your biggest expense during retirement? Are most of your assets in tax-deferred accounts like IRAs and 401ks? Taxes are historically low today, but we're facing significant headwinds in the future. Do you have a plan? The Thrive Financial team has more than 100 years of experience helping people across the Delaware Valley with forward-looking tax planning. Learn how to shift your money from forever tax to no or low tax accounts. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Big Sill shaking them up, baby. Hey, Xander, those posts are killing it, man. Woo, you guys have been on fire this week. Holy cow, we've had a big week. Thank you so much for coming aboard. I appreciate you stepping in with us. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. What a big week. How you doing, man? I hate today's NFL, but I can't stop watching it. It's like heroin. Dude, I'm with you, man. The NFL, man, it's crazy good, right? That's why when everyone goes like this is really going to put a black eye on the NFL, this Daniel Snyder. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Dude, the NBA suffered massively for taking knees. The fan base, like 50% of the fan base went away because some are cool with it, some weren't cool with it. Well, what does Michael Jordan always say? Republicans buy sneakers too. And that's how his philosophy was, and that's how he does business, whether you like it or not. Republicans buy sneakers too. And that's how he looked. The NBA didn't look at it like that. Oh, we're going to do business with China, but hey, guess what? America sucks. That turns people off. You guys don't come here for political spins. You come here for sports spins. But the NBA thinks they're a political arm like the Major League Baseball thought they were. Dude, Daniel Snyder is really going to hurt? No, it's not. If it's Kaepernick, if it's taking knees, if it's Jerry Jones's picture, if it's guys having 25 sexual misconduct charges against them, if it's a guy beating women, if it's a guy murdering someone. He was an alum then, but still, you think that hurts the league? Got to be crazy, man. Nothing hurts the National Football League. Okay? Who's more likely to be gone next year? It's going to be Gannon because Gannon's got all the political push behind him. That's what he's got. He's got the political push. He does. All right, Week 14 NFL. Got to reset this. Giants and Eagles. Oh, my God. Hey, did you agree with me on my reseeding of the 2020 NFL Draft? Right? What's the score? Dak, what did I have? 27-14, Eagles. The Giants haven't scored 30 points all season. Where are they getting the points from? I just don't see it. I love this, what we did in the first hour. Jalen's 2020 draft. The other guys beside or after 53, they're bums. Joey B, number one. I'd have Joey B number one, too. That guy's going to get paid. Sills, would you rather pay Jalen $50 million or would you pay Joe Burrow $50 million? I'm going with the guy in Cincinnati. The guy in Cincinnati, I'm going to pay 50. The guy in Philly, no. I'll trade his ass and get 2 ones before I pay that guy 50. (2022) was taking 5. And Herbert was 6. I'd take Justin Herbert second. Dude, when you watch, like I told everyone the story when I watched Justin Herbert. You guys remember Tyrod Taylor? So I guess like the stupid medical doctor stabbed him in the heart or something, and he couldn't play in the Kansas City game. I watched about 5 minutes of that game, and I went, holy shit, that guy's good. I have yet to use those phrases with Jalen. Holy shit. I'll tell you this, the last 2 weeks have been pretty impressive. But when you watch Justin, you were like, holy shit. This guy can throw the ball, man. He's amazing. Yeah, man, he injured his heart or, his lung. That's it. I would take Jalen. Hey, isn't that crazy? Who do you think has, boy, Xander, you could probably say something to this. Who do you think has matured more as an NFL? Matured, I'm talking his game. Who do you think has performed better as a starting quarterback in the NFL since he came into the league? Tua or Jalen Hurts? Let's take a look at that. Who? Burrow's not 11-1. No, he's the reigning AFC champion and went to a Super Bowl. Your guy was destroyed in a playoff game. And this guy changed the culture in Cincinnati. He's not 11-1. You can keep your 11-1. That guy is a conference champion. That guy in 3 years of starting won a Heisman, national title, and took his team to the Super Bowl. Your boy's done what now? 11-1. Wow, Saquon's out. Shit. 27-7. I'll change it. Saquon's out. Forget it. Not close. I don't see it. Burrow takes the most of any sacks, and he still got to a Super Bowl. Remarkable. Remarkable. Tua Tagovailoa stats. How many? This guy's missed 3 games and he's got 2,900 yards, 21 touchdowns. That's incredible. Dude, if this guy, seriously, if Tua had played those games and he didn't get knocked out, Tua and Mahomes would be battling it out for the MVP along with Jalen. Let's take a look at this, guys. So, Tagovailoa is 21-10 as a starting quarterback. He's thrown 21 touchdowns this year and 5 picks. Better than Hurts. And his quarterback is 112. Burrow gets hurt more than Hurts in the pocket. Yeah, they both have had surgery, though. But Jalen hasn't missed time. Well, he did miss a game last year. But that was precautionary, probably. Saquon is questionable. That's still not good. Take nothing from Tua. Tua's had a great year. He really has. Boy, I'll tell you something, man. I mean, I just think they got a really tough decision to make in Miami at the end of the day. Let's get into week 14. Let's do this. Yeah. So Saquon Barkley is like, he's like, he's questionable. Shit. That game's going to be that game won't, I don't think, look, it's divisional. I'll be careful. Saban is a quarterback guru. Isn't that crazy? And a wide receiver school. You want wide receivers? You go to Alabama. Shit, they got that room at Alabama is the most gifted room they have in that building. Is their wide receiver building. Dude, the guys that are coming out of there since Julio have been nobody who was a wide receiver went to Alabama. Name me a wide receiver back there in the Bryant years, or even like in the 80s. Name me a guy Ray Perkins. Who did Alabama have? That guy went from being a 3-yard and cloud of dust guy to recruiting the top quarterbacks and recruiting the top wide receivers and running backs and old linemen. Alabama is an offensive machine. When? Since when? Dude, they weren't. The only time they were ever like that during their era was in the 60s when they had Namath and Stabler. Outside of that era where they had them dudes, they were not. You couldn't. Hey, am I right, Xander, when I say this? The first quarterback ever drafted since Namath in the first round, I'm not sure if Richard Todd was a first rounder, but I think then again, too, Namath wasn't drafted in the NFL. He was drafted in the AFL. He would have been, but he wasn't. So the only guy that I can think of that was drafted in the first round at quarterback is Tagovailoa. And then Mac Jones came. Namath wasn't an NFL draft choice. He was an AFL draft choice. Shit, they didn't have first-round quarterbacks going. Right? Jets at Buffalo. Oh, Josh Allen. $36-20 Bills. Josh Allen, baby. That's what you build your franchise around. Cleveland at Cincinnati. Deshaun Watson versus Joe Burrow. You'll have to excuse me, but in my lifetime, if somebody told me, Sills, a must-watch game is the Cleveland Browns versus the Cincinnati Bengals, I would have said you were on crack. Okay? I would have went, nah, that's, nah. This is a must-watch game. You got two fabulous talents. Fabulous talents. I'm taking Cincinnati. It's at home at Paul Brown. Joey B playing some great ball. I'll take that thing 28-21. I do think it'll be close because I don't know if Joe Burrow has beaten the Browns yet. I mean, I don't know, right? Houston at Dallas. Team you struggled with. Struggled with the Texans. Eagles struggle against the Texans. Dallas, just put a 50 burger on someone. They're coming for you. After this week, oh my God, your record will not matter to the national media because it's going to be 44-10 Cowboys. And come Monday, you're going to be 12-1. And you know what people are going to say? Remember I said this, Xander, mark the tape. The Cowboys are better than the Eagles. I'm not saying that. I do not believe that. I do not believe that. But you know Big Sills is telling the truth. Watch Monday. They're going to put 90, they're going to have like 94 points in the last 2 weeks. And everyone's going to come out and go, oh my. Dude, when you watch Undisputed or Fox and FS1, it's like a Cowboy pregame show all week long. This is what I'm talking about with Jalen when it comes to MVP. He'll never win it. Now, he beats Dallas on Christmas Eve. It'll put him in the conversation finally. It'll only take 17 weeks to get him there, though. Everyone goes, this guy's really great. You're like, I know. I know. Eagles do play their best ball in December. I agree with you, Jason. Cowboys 50-10 could be. Okay? Dan is right. I hate to say it. They always going to say Cowboys are Frederick. And they're not. I have pointed this out. Frederick, watch this. Is Dak playing better football than Jalen? No. Do they have a better running game? No. Do they have a better O-line? No. Do they have a better collection of wideouts? No. I'm talking Dallas versus Eagles. Does Dallas have better defensive tackles? No. Do they have better edge rushers? Yes. Does Dallas have better linebackers? Push. Does Dallas have better corners and DBs? No. Eagles. Where in the frig do you see that the Eagles are really in any place? And by the way, you're going to get Goddard back for that game? He comes back next week? Come on, man. I don't subscribe to that. I do not. Dak 2.0 says Dak is better. He ain't playing better. He's not playing better than Prescott. Or Prescott's not playing better than Jalen this year. That's not true. Just statistically, record-wise, and consistency. You guys got beat by the stupid Packers. You get beat by the dumb Packers. I mean, the Packer game was close with the Eagles, but they won. Crack is back. We'll prove the media wrong. That's my take. I agree with you. Minnesota at Detroit. Who you guys got here? Minnesota at Detroit. Hey guys, have you ever seen an NFL football team like the Minnesota Vikings that are like the cardiac kids? Every week, it's one psychotic play after another, and how the Vikings win. Dude, I look at them and I go, I don't buy that. Look, and I'll tell you this, the 11-1 record with the Eagles, I think is legit. Would we agree? The 11-1 Eagle record is legit. The 10-2 Viking record isn't. I just don't see that. I look at that 10-2 record and go, I don't know, man. That thing looks like a 7-5 team to me, man. I think they got some good football players on there. Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, the Smith kid, the pass rush. I think they got some good players, but man, I don't look at them and go, man, that's a really good 10-2 team. You know? I'll tell you this. I'm going to take the upset here. I'm going to take the Lions. And I think they beat Minnesota. This is a good thing for the Eagles. And I think they beat them 33-30. I got Detroit in an upset here. Jacksonville at Tennessee. I think Tennessee rights the ship. It's been a tough year for Doug. He's got so much to clean up after that Urban Meyer mess. I think Doug will have everything on the right track next year. This year, it's about house cleaning. You know how you buy a house and you've got to like redo the rooms. You got to have a lot of construction. You got to go through the cleaning, the plumbing. You got to do all that, repaint the house. That's what Doug's doing here. I think Tennessee rebounds. And also, too, they're going to want to play for Mike Vrabel because Vrabel's got all the power now. So I'm going to go 29-17. Baltimore at Pittsburgh. Lamar's not playing in this game, I don't believe. It's at Pittsburgh. I think the Steelers are now favored by 3 in this ball game. I think Pittsburgh wins this game. I think Tyler Huntley's a good football player. He easily could win this game. But I got Pittsburgh winning this game. I don't think it's an upset. They're favored. And I'm going to say 21-17. I think they win this game. KC Denver. Boy, I'll tell you something. If I'm the Denver Broncos and I'm in a position right now, I sit Russell Wilson the rest of the year. What's the point? Get a new coach in there, see if they can fix this thing. You're in salary cap hell. You've given all your draft choices away, and you need an adult in the building instead of Nathaniel Hackett. You need somebody like Frank Reich to go in there. And get this, the more you lose, the more Seattle's pick moves up the top of the draft. How iconic is that for Pete Carroll? Pete Carroll could have a top 5 pick, make the playoffs. Do you know that Seattle could get the 2nd pick in the draft and make the playoffs and maybe get to a conference championship game with Geno Smith? How'd you like that? They could have the 2nd pick in the draft. Pete Carroll could bow out of Seattle going, set you up, next guy. And he walks into the Hall of Fame. I got Kansas City destroying Denver. 40-10. I don't see it. Now, they have the 2nd best defense in the NFL and 2nd ranked defense in the NFL, so 40 might be too much, but yeah, but I don't think you're going to get the 2nd pick. I think you're going to get the 5th pick. Still awesome. Yeah, GM of the year, absolutely. Schneider. Dude, they got all the picks from Denver. And, hey, think about Denver. Not only did you give all your picks away, but you gave the quarterback $300 million. And you gave it to him a lot in signing bonus. Dude, you're dead for 5 years. 5 years you're dead. You're dead. Like, the NFL has 31 franchises. They're a non-factor. Unless somehow Wilson turns back into Russell Wilson 2017. I don't see it. Hey, if you're Denver, do you talk about trading Russell Wilson? Who picks up that contract? No one. You imagine that? What if you cut his ass? Yeah. You could defer all the money out. Holy cow, man. Russell Wilson, dude, is it true the Broncos even asked him to give some of the money back? Yeah, good luck. Hey, man, can I have my money back? I don't think so. That'd be like a casino house going, hey, you won $20 million, man. You think you give us some of the money back? I don't think so. We rolled the roulette wheel. We won. You lost. Good. I love it when players get to stiff the ownership group. I'm always on the player side. Stiff them. Here's a great game. Tampa Bay versus San Francisco. TB12. Boy, I got to say, Tom Brady wins this game, and I think they're going to because of the quarterback situation. Purdy Bird. Purdy Bird's going to be seeing them birdies. He got his back. Purdy Bird. Purdy Bird. Oh, it's Brock Purdy. Right? It's Brock Purdy. Purdy Bird. Am I right? This is going to be a good test here, though. DeMeco Ryans, man, he's going to get a... Dude, that guy needs a job. Okay? DeMeco Ryans, man, I would love to have him as my head coach. That guy plays with a great style of defense, and I love that guy. I pray he gets a head coaching job somewhere. And somewhere that's decent, too, that gives him a shot at succeeding. You know what I'm saying? I hope to God he does that. You know what I'm saying? I hope he does. Buccaneers. 28-21 in a close one. Bucs win, move to 7-6. And get this. This is going to be this. You ready? Divisional game. Buccaneers versus the Eagles. Tom Brady versus Jonathan Gannon. I'm not going to tell you what it is this time. I'm going to wait. Let me flip it again. Tom Brady versus Jonathan Gannon. I'm hoping it comes up heads. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. Tom Brady versus the Eagle defensive coordinator. You wanted to totally agree. Dude, you really want to see Tom Brady in the playoffs? Jalen Hurts will get $500 million if he goes. Hey, Xander, Jalen Hurts will get $500 million if this happens. Are you ready? He beats Brady. He beats the Niners. And he beats Mahomes. All bets are off. I mean, you're gonna be doing this. Watch. Mr. Brinks, got a little more room. Only Xander knows what we're doing here. Thank you very much. If Hurts does that, I'll tattoo his face. Hey, Tone. If Jalen Hurts beats Brady, beats the Niners, beats Mahomes in the Super Bowl, I'll get a Jalen Hurts tattoo on my ass too. Oh, man. Wow. Things are shaping up pretty awesome here, man. All right. You know what? Guys around the NFL. I got to ask Cole this question flat out. Let's bring my friend Jason Cole in here, Hall of Fame voter. Jason.
Yes.
Hall of Fame, MVP right now. Would you have a problem giving an MVP vote to Jalen Hurts right now?
A first place vote?
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't give him a first place vote. He'd probably be in that top 3. Mahomes is the MVP. So I'm still on that. I mean, there's room for change, but I would definitely go with Mahomes at this point in time. But
what if
Hurts deserves consideration? But look, I think he leans on. He has a lot of help, which is that's not to denigrate him. It's to say that they have a really good roster. They might have the most complete roster out there, and Mahomes does too. But remember, Mahomes is doing this even though he lost Tyreek Hill. Okay, Jalen Hurts, they went and got AJ Brown. To help him out. That's, again, Jalen Hurts is having a terrific year. He might be the most improved player in the league. Maybe a player who deserves to get paid, along the lines of, 35, 40, $45 million. He might be one of those guys, right? Salute him. But, Mahomes is the best player in the league right now, as far as MVP vote goes.
Jason, do you agree that Christmas Eve game could maybe change some of that dynamic? Because if the Cowboys and Packers had 30 million people watching it, when people look at the Eagles, they see that 11-1 record. And to me, sometimes you see weeks and box scores. If you're a voter, say in Seattle, and you see 153, you're like, well, a lot of people are in the press that we know, they're like box score readers. And they'll see what a guy did. Do you think that game could change a perception of him?
I think there's only 32 voters.
Yeah,
there some are at larges, and they pay a lot of attention. I remember when I was a voter, I paid a lot of attention to that. So I took great care to make sure that I was doing more than reading box scores. I watched a lot of games. Now I watched mostly the Dolphins at the time because that's who I was I was covering, but. Yeah, I tried to watch as much of the league as I could. So I don't think that sways it a lot. I would say that things can change. Like the Chiefs could go on a run where they lose a bunch of games. And that's why I always, when people say, this person's the MVP after 12 weeks. Hey, dudes, we got like 6-7 weeks left to play. Can we pump the brakes on it a little bit to see how it plays out? Jalen Hurts could overtake Patrick Mahomes. It could happen if some things change. But if you're asking me today, the answer is no.
Who have you been more impressed with their improvement, Tagovailoa or Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is closer to being a guy that I would pay a lot of money to. I watched Tagovailoa last Sunday in person. If things break down, he's not very good. He's not an improvisational player yet. You can get there and learn what do you do when things break down? What do you do when things are off script? What do you do when the defense takes away your first and second read? All those things that are really, really important. So Tagovailoa has done a really nice job this year. Give him a lot of credit. Learned a new system. They catered the system around him. He's gotten a lot of help, with Waddle there already, bringing Hill in. Sherfield is really good, too, as a third receiver. But Hurts, to me, again, I'm fully invested in. I'm much closer to saying I'll give Jalen Hurts the money.
Than Tua.
Yeah, more than
that
Tua.
leads me to this, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
You think the Dolphins move off of Tagovailoa in the offseason because of what you said, where you go like this? I mean, you've got a decision to make, because if Lamar Jackson does run through the tape here and doesn't re-sign with Baltimore, he's a South Florida kid. His mom wants him to play there. Could you see him potentially doing this? Hey, man, let's move. We're Chris Greer moving off of him and moving on to Lamar and moving off of Tagovailoa.
I don't know that I like Lamar Jackson a whole lot more than I like Tua. Okay, so
there's an injury thing there too.
Right. I mean, how much longer is he going to be able to run? And Lamar Jackson is not a thrower. So Tua is much closer to what you need to have back there. He just has he has limitations right now. And the other problem with Tua is, and Jeff Darlington made this point when we saw each other last week, Tua doesn't have one of those loose cannon arms like a baseball player, like a shortstop, where you can throw the ball, whip the ball with your arm, and just put it wherever you need to, even when your body is not fully underneath you. He needs to have his body underneath him, or he needs to be going the direction of the throw in order to make a good throw. If he doesn't have his body underneath him, his mechanics are bad. He throws a lot of he makes a lot of bad throws. Like Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, they're like guys playing shortstop, that if they're going to their left or they're going to their right, they can either throw from the hole or they can throw from up the middle, right? And change their bodies and change their arm angles and overcome that. Josh Allen, same kind of thing, big power arm. Now, you don't want to always be throwing with your arm, but sometimes you have to. Tua can't do that. Lamar can't really do that either. So I think Tua is closer to the kind of quarterback you need to have in this league. I'm not sure that he's ever going to really get there. And he may be one of those sort of good to very good quarterbacks who, when everything is perfect around him and he has a lot of help, you can win. And maybe even
you think he's like a Chad Pennington?
Oh, he's got better arm than Chad Pennington.
Okay.
And he gets rid of the ball faster. I mean, Tua is super accurate, right? And when he is in rhythm, I mean, he gets rid of the ball really fast. The first and second read or first or second read are there. Tua is super dangerous. I mean, he can be fun. It's what do you do when things break down? There was this play, and it's people just don't notice it that much. But the 49ers had 12 guys on the field on this third and one play at about the 30-yard line in that game. And as they're coming to the line of scrimmage, they realize they got 12 on the field, and the big old defensive lineman, guy built like me or you, starts running off the field, right? And if that's Aaron Rodgers, he sees that and he goes, okay, snap the ball, free play, here we go, right? Tua looks, and I know he saw him, but he just went through the process.
The play.
Yeah, the process of the play, and you just go, dude, you have a free play. Instead, he took a sack for -8, and they got the field goal. But it's like, no, that's such an enormous opportunity. If your mind is thinking, okay, here's what I have to do, here's what I have to be ready. These are the things I have to execute. And when something changes in front of you, be ready for it. He was not. And so that's the fine points of what I'm trying to talk about with Tua.
49ers or Cowboys, who do you think is the biggest threat to the Eagles when it comes to winning the NFC this year?
Well, Dallas, they're healthier and they got a better quarterback and all those kinds of things. 49ers are definitely dangerous, but they have to play a low-scoring game. They're not going to. Brock Purdy, I give Brock Purdy a lot of credit. The kid's got some chutzpah to him. And I don't say that easily. Chutzpah is a special quality, right? But he's got that. But come on, he's the last pick of the draft. I mean,
you think Dak is better than Jalen?
They're about the same.
About the same?
About the same, which means that under that circumstance, I'm paying Jalen.
Because
now they paid Dak, and I don't blame him for playing Dak. Here's always the problem that you have with quarterbacks is you have good, you want great, and you're always searching for great. But once you at least have good and serviceable at that position, you kind of have to live with it, right? It's really hard. It's really hard. It's like that's where Kyle Shanahan was like, I got Jimmy Garoppolo. I need Trey Lance, and he had to overpay and all these other things for it and create a big mess. It's really a difficult situation to go from good to great. It's really hard. Kansas City did it. They had Alex Smith. They had a plan and it worked, and they picked the right guy. That is a rare exception.
And Jason, this is what I was trying to tell people yesterday. The majority of these big contracts, I mean, Dak Prescott getting bounced in the opening rounds, having one playoff win, you look at that and you go like this, $45 million. Am I getting my return on investment? We haven't advanced to a conference title game in 30 years. I mean, then you look at Kyler Murray, you look at last night, Derek Carr, all these big money guys, they create gaps in your team, and they create exactly what the NFL wants, parity in the league. And you know what? Mahomes' deal is really the only deal. You could say Stafford because Stafford delivered a Super Bowl. I agree. Brady's deal also. But these guys aren't the highest paid guys in the game.
No, but look, if once you have a proven guy, you got to pay for it. Because do you want to be let's think of, do you want to be Houston? Do you want to be Indianapolis? Do you want to be
Jason, the only reason the Eagles are
Seattle?
In the position, but Jason, the only reason the Eagles are in the position they're making is because he's the lowest paid guy in the offensive huddle. He makes $1.4 million a year. It's the only reason. When they start paying him,
they've got look, he's a good enough player that they'll win once he gets paid. And look, most teams, you're lucky if you got 5 or 6 guys on your team that you have to pay what they want. Most teams, your winning and losing is determined largely by, do you know how to backfill your roster constantly and live with whatever the quarterback is? Indianapolis won a lot of games with Peyton Manning when he was the highest paid quarterback in the league, because they knew how to supplement and keep, surround him with players. I don't buy this argument. You got to win while your quarterback is cheap. It helps. I'm not going to deny that, but I need a quarterback just because they are so incredibly hard to find. And I've watched the Dolphins. I watched the last year of the Dolphins with Dan Marino, and what it's taken just to get to Tua.
Right.
20 years.
Well, you didn't like the Cleo Lemons?
I like Cleo was in it. Those guys were all nice guys. They were really, they weren't great players. Look at the Chicago Bears. They haven't had a great quarterback
since Sid Luckman.
Exactly. And most of your people think Sid Luckman is their tailor down the street. That's what it is. He's one of my people. I love the man.
Very nicely done, my friend.
Yes, there you go.
Done. Let me ask you about the Washington Commanders and Daniel Snyder. This time next year, will he be the owner of the Washington Commanders?
That's a tough one. And I'll say yes. Because he's stubborn enough to make people have to kick him out.
And you know what, too, Jace? I'm going to add this to you here. I think because the Republicans taking the House, all those investigations that they were having with the Commanders now go away.
They go away.
And that buys them more time.
Yeah, probably, but that stench.
Agreed.
Here's the problem.
By the way, John Gruden's going to make a killing.
No, he's not.
You don't think so?
He's not getting a dime. You're the league. That wasn't the league that did, unless he wants to sue Washington.
Yeah, if he wants he's part of the Shield.
That's not. He sued the league. Okay, he didn't sue Snyder. Okay, I don't know.
All that stuff Bruce Allen's talking and testifying against, you don't think that's going to come back to haunt the league?
Not really. Not much.
I said earlier too. I go, the league is Teflon, man. Nothing hurts that thing.
Here's the reason why Dan Snyder won't escape what you're talking about. It's the investigations are over, but the real damage of the investigations has already been done, which is he's done a lot of the damage on his own because he's such a jerk. People in local politics don't want to give him a new stadium. And it's neither the people in Maryland nor the people in Virginia. And he's not getting the site in DC because everybody hates him so much. And he's done such a crappy job of running that team. And he's so toxic. It doesn't matter if Congress is investigating him or not anymore, but nobody wants to do business with him. And that's not going away. And so because of that, he's going to be forced into a situation where he can't make enough money, year over year. So, in real cash, he's going to be forced to sell because of the stadium situation as much as anything. And the league will wait him out. Again, the political stuff, that investigation, the ship has already sailed on that. I don't think that matters. I think the way he has basically scorched the earth in that area will make it impossible for him to own them long term. But a year from now, yeah, probably still.
Finally here, you cool with Jason Garrett taking over your Stanford football program?
Well, he said he wasn't going to do it today. He went on Twitter and said he wasn't.
Well, dude, Stanford job. Do you know Coach Shaw made $9 million? I mean, that's
in 1 year. He didn't make $9 million annually. He made $9
yes, he
million.
did.
No, not year over year.
He did. I looked it up. It's 9 and that guy.
It was 9. It was 9 with his retirement payment, which was a lump sum payment.
He made a lot of cash there, man. And
he did make there. But
I think that's a great job, Jason. I think that's Notre Dame of West Coast.
I think it's a dead end job where you can't win anymore
because you can't get the kids in you need because of the requirements and the admissions. Yes.
No, not that.
If you recruit 20 kids in Alabama, those 20 kids ain't going to be the same kids.
Well, but
Palo Alto.
But Shaw and Harbaugh got kids, and that part hasn't changed. What has changed is the conference situation is bad. And once you lose USC and UCLA, and it's a non-competitive conference. That's number one. Number two, you're not embracing NIL, and they won't really ever embrace NIL, so they won't get kids like that. The transfer portal is never going to work for them. It just can't. Okay. So to me, there are much greater problems that affect whether you're going to be able to compete in the big way that you did when Harbaugh and Shaw were there, when they were at their best. I think Stanford is in danger of becoming, if they even survive into the sort of the centralization of college football, where it becomes just 64 teams basically competing for playoff spots. If they survive into that and actually get there, as all the conferences start to change, I think they're at best Vanderbilt, the way Vandy is in the SEC. Unless they decide to take it seriously and find a way to do NIL in a different way and find a way to get into bigger conferences and say, we're ready to compete, to find a way to get to the Big Ten or some other avenue, right? I think college football is in a lot of trouble. I think college football is just it's a cash grab game right now by the schools and the players, but really by the schools, that is going to make the game implode. And there are going to be a lot of schools that, Oregon State, Washington State, Boston College. There are going to be a lot of colleges that drop football, at least drop big time Division I football, and that's going to be really sad.
Absolutely. You're going to see a lot of programs go away. Jace, have a great week, man. We'll catch up with you again. Thank you, brother.
Dude. Be good. See ya.
You got it. Jason Cole, Hall of Fame voter and our NFL insider. Please hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Did you know taxes could be your biggest expense during retirement? Are most of your assets in tax-deferred accounts like IRAs and 401ks? Taxes are historically low today, but we're facing significant headwinds in the future. Do you have a plan? The Thrive Financial team has more than 100 years of experience helping people across the Delaware Valley with forward-looking tax planning. Learn how to shift your money from forever tax to no or low tax accounts. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
I hate to have to correct people. Sorry, Jason. But David Shaw's 2022 annual salary is $9.25 million. Bada bing, bada bong, hadagadon, higadon, hakakon. It's okay. You know, I have to correct people every now and then, but it's okay. See? Look at that, man. $9.25 million. Not bad for a guy who didn't have a winning season in 3 years. Da-da-da-da-da. Don't ever say Big Sills is wrong. He's never wrong. It's how you perceive it. How you doing? Yeah. And by the way, Xander, our sound bites are annihilating. We are annihilating. Dominate. I love the word dominating. Gargantuan. Enormous. I love all that. Hey, do you see? Dude, he posted it like 5,000 people already. Philly better get used to Big Sills. Oh, my God. When Angelo leaves, it's over. I got you. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. Dude, hey, Xander, that video that you put up or whoever put up, it's got like 5,000 views on it already. How's that possible? I'm not watching you anymore. You hurt my feelings. This is classical. I've never seen anything. Dude, you guys in Philly are great. You give me a ton of shit, but you watch, and you know what? I respect you. Did I get through all the teams? Oh. Miami, Los Angeles Chargers, I think they get that back. But no. Oh my God, Tua versus Herbert. Who would you take? I'll take Justin Herbert. Yeah. Yes, sir. And father-in-law. Sills would be an amazing uncle. I would be, man. I love family. Spell it for us. Hey, Scotter. Here, I'll spell it for you, Scott. Winning. Oh, I forgot. You're never wrong, Dan. That's right, Brian. I put the Clark Kent glasses on for you, Brian. Yeah. Not everybody can take super sills. There's no annihilation. Oh, now I forgot. Those are my favorite people on Twitter. The English teachers. That's not proper grammar. Really? You think I come here for grammar? I come here because I'm Big Sills, not for grammar lessons. You see my degree folded and put in my back pocket. How you doing? That's not an appropriate way to use and or ant. Joey B. Oh, I hope my boy Jimmy Garoppolo gets back, man. Damn. Okay, once again, Eagles. Sunday. I don't see it. Barkley's questionable. I think the guy Williams is questionable too. Just helping. Thank you, BF. I got a lot of helpers in the world. But very few I trust. All I could say is this before I continue. Hey, Jalen, please don't get beat by Dimes Jones again. Please. He's already hung an L on you. Please. I'm begging you. It's horrible for my show if Dimes Jones beats you again. So Heineke and Dimes Jones could have L's on you. Not a good. That's not 50 million, kid. Just pick the Giants, please. Sway, no. Picking the Eagles. 27. I'm going to stick with 14. Okay? Maurice goes, Sill's show is all that. I tune in because he keeps it real as F. When I talk like he talks at work, the Eagle fans want to. Xander, put up Maurice. Xander, look at Maurice. Don't do this. Okay? My wife, hey, Maurice, so you know, my wife and my kid think I'm the most obnoxious human being ever, too. So just, Sill's show is all that. I tune in because he keeps it real as F. When I talk like he talks at work, the Eagle fans want to kill me because I'm not supposed to talk. Maurice, don't do that. Oh, I got Navy winning. I'm going to pick Navy. Dude, I think Jalen's going to throw the ball. Watch this. I think the offense has another big day in the air. So you guys will be able to hammer me Monday. I think Hurts has a big game throwing the ball. He could have another 300-yard game, 3 touchdowns, something like that. I think Wink Martindale's going to blitz the shit out of him. And this thing could be over early. Now, if they get to him, Miles Sanders, running backs, you got to pass protect. You got to pass protect in this bitch. Okay? Please pass protect. Don't get my golden goose hurt. You guys are crazy if you think I want that guy hurt. I do not. What, do you want to cover Gardner Minshew? I'm going to go to bed then. And then I'll break the streak and I'll take days off. If Gardner Minshew is your quarterback, I'm taking days off. All right. Have a great weekend. Should be an interesting game. Again, Eagles 27, Giants 14. They haven't scored 30 points all year. Should be an awesome one. God bless all of you. Have a great weekend. Xander, great stuff. I'll catch you Monday, 3 to 6, and we'll see you on the flip side.